Iron Man has worn dozens of suits, but only a handful pushed the limits of science, physics, and pure Tony Stark madness. These are the armors built not just to win fights, but to rewrite what a human body could do inside metal. Some were forged during desperation. Some were crafted for wars Tony hoped would never come. And a few. They were created for battles no Avenger was ever prepared to face. Today, we're breaking down the strongest Iron Man suits ever created, their upgrades, hidden abilities, and the evolution that turned Tony Stark from a man in a machine into something far more powerful. Iron Man's strongest suits didn't emerge from comfort, victory, or celebration. Every major breakthrough in Tony Stark's armor history was forged in the heat of failure. Tony never upgraded for fun. He upgraded because something nearly killed him, someone outmatched him, or the world revealed a threat his current technology simply couldn't handle. From the moment he built the Mark I while dying in a cave, Tony internalized a brutal truth: if he wanted to survive, he had to evolve. And evolution, for him, meant engineering. Each of the most powerful suits in his arsenal began with a very specific problem. When speed became a limitation, he reworked propulsion. When durability was compromised, he redesigned the alloy. When cosmic threats emerged, he built armors capable of surviving the vacuum, radiation, and forces that would shatter a normal human. And when he confronted gods, titans, and beings far beyond human scale, Tony didn't back down. He built countermeasures. He created armor that matched the scope of the threat. What makes Tony Stark's journey unique is that his power was never random. It followed an emotional arc. Fear drove the early suits, responsibility shaped the middle era, and sheer ambition defined his final creations. Every suit was a confession, a reaction, and ultimately, a lesson that turned failure into unstoppable innovation. The journey from the Mark I to the Mark VII is the foundation on which every powerful Iron Man suit was built. These early models were raw, imperfect, and often dangerously unstable, but they represent Tony Stark's transformation from desperate survivor to fully realized armored warrior. The Mark I was nothing more than a lifeboat welded in darkness, heavy steel plates, flamethrowers, and crude propulsion designed only for escape. But its limitations became Tony's blueprint. He saw what didn't work, and he improved everything. The Mark II introduced flight, but with disastrous icing problems. Tony's response: reinvent the alloys for extreme altitude and thermal balance. The Mark III added stabilized propulsion, weapon targeting systems, and the iconic red and gold design. By the time Tony reached the Mark IV, he was refining efficiency, fixing power draw issues, and preparing for combat-scale deployment. The Mark V experimented with portability, a suitcase suit meant for emergencies, which revealed Tony's obsession with speed and accessibility. The Mark VI and VII marked the moment Tony's armor truly became battlefield-ready. With improved repulsor output, guided weapons, reinforced plating, auto-deployment, and precision control, Tony achieved what his earlier suits only hinted at: seamless combat integration. These early suits weren't his strongest, but they were the pillars of everything that came after, proof that each flaw forced a smarter, stronger design. The Mark XLII and Mark XLII represent one of the boldest shifts in Tony Stark's engineering philosophy, the move from traditional full-body armor to modular, remote control, and auto-assembling systems. With these suits, Tony wasn't just wearing the armor, he was commanding it like a fleet. The Mark XLII introduced the iconic, pieces flying in from everywhere mechanic, where each component could launch independently and assemble onto Tony in seconds. This wasn't just flashy. It was strategic. The suit could be summoned across vast distances, deployed in fragments, or operate partially if damaged. Tony essentially turned his armor into a swarm-based machine. The Mark XLII refined the concept with stronger magnetic linking, improved targeting, and faster assembly speeds. For the first time, Tony could engage threats without fully suiting up, using individual modules as drones or shields. These suits provided new flexibility in combat and changed the way Tony moved, fought, and reacted. Yet despite their revolutionary nature, they weren't his strongest. Their modular design, while versatile, sacrificed structural durability. When fully assembled, the armor couldn't match the raw strength of heavy-duty models or the adaptive intelligence of nanotech-era suits. Still, the XLII and XLII were vital transitional phases, bridges between conventional Iron Man armor and the specialized, high-level suits that would soon redefine Tony's power. The Hulkbuster models, starting with the Mark XLIV and evolving through later versions, were the closest Tony Stark ever came to building a mechanical god. These suits weren't designed for war, rescue, or defense. They were designed for one mission only: to stop the Hulk. And that single purpose shaped every brutal inch of their engineering. The Mark XLIV, deployed through the Veronica orbital system, dropped into battles like a meteor. Its reinforced exoframe could withstand punches that shattered skyscrapers. Its kinetic absorption systems redirected impact energy into stabilizing force, allowing Tony to stay upright even under Hulk-level blows. The armor's bulk wasn't a flaw, it was a necessity. This suit wasn't meant to dodge. It was meant to take damage, survive it, and hit back harder. The jackhammer fist system, capable of delivering hundreds of rapid-fire strikes per second, was engineered specifically to overwhelm Hulk's regenerative rage. Even the modular repair pods, which replaced damaged sections mid-battle, showed Tony's understanding that this armor would be torn apart the moment it engaged. But the Hulkbuster's strength came with limitations. It was slow, power-hungry, and nearly impossible to deploy without advanced support systems. It lacked versatility and struggled against agile or energy-based opponents. Still, in raw physical power, few suits ever came close. This was Tony at his most strategic, building a Titan to face a Titan. The bleeding edge armor marked a turning point in Tony Stark's technological evolution, a moment where the line between Tony the Man and Iron Man the Machine blurred completely. Unlike previous armors that Tony wore or controlled, the bleeding edge lived inside him, stored within his body and deployed on command like a second skin. This suit was made from programmable nanometal, a living swarm that responded instantly to Tony's thoughts. It didn't assemble, it grew around him. In combat, it could shift shape, changing from armor to weapons in microseconds. Need a blade? It formed one. Need shields? They materialized. Need flight thrusters, grapples, repulsor arrays, medical systems, or gravity dampeners? The nanites adapted instantly. Its self-healing ability was revolutionary. Damage that would cripple ordinary suits simply reformed, as the armor rebuilt itself molecule by molecule. This adaptability made Tony nearly untouchable, able to survive battles that once would have killed him. In the comics, many fans see Bleeding Edge as Tony's technological peak, the armor that captured his philosophy of limitless innovation. It wasn't just flexible, it was intuitive, evolving with the user. But its greatest strength came from its integration with Tony's biology. The armor wasn't an external tool anymore, it was part of him. It mirrored his instincts, amplified his will, and represented the closest Tony ever came to becoming Iron Man in the literal sense. The Model Prime armor was Tony Stark's attempt to create the ultimate all-in-one solution, a single suit capable of replacing every specialty armor he had ever built. After years of constructing space suits, stealth suits, underwater suits, Hulkbuster variants, and magical counterarmors, Tony realized the future wasn't about building more suits. It was about building one suit capable of becoming anything. The Model Prime was that answer. Powered by next-generation nanotech, it could shift forms, materials, density, and function in real time. In one moment, it could morph into high-speed flight mode, in the next, it could reinforce its plating into heavy-duty Hulkbuster configuration. Need stealth technology? It could bend light around itself. Need deep-sea protection? It sealed itself, adjusting pressure resistance instantly. Need cosmic travel capabilities? It extended thrusters, energy shielding, and environmental regulators. Every suit Tony once carried as a backup was now embedded within a single adaptive system. The Model Prime represents Tony's final form in design philosophy: versatility over specialization, intelligence over brute force, evolution over reaction. This suit anticipated threats rather than responded to them. It read terrain, scanned opponents, calculated weaknesses, and shifted into whatever type of armor the situation demanded. While not as physically overwhelming as the Hulkbuster or as biologically integrated as Bleeding Edge, the Model Prime stood above nearly everything in terms of sheer utility. It was Tony's dream realized, one suit for every possible war. In Tony Stark's arsenal, some threats demanded more than conventional firepower. Gods, celestials, and reality-warping entities could not be faced with standard armor. The Thorbuster suit exemplifies this philosophy. Built specifically to contend with Thor-level power, it incorporated a supercharged energy core designed to store and project godly lightning while shielding Tony from divine strikes. Its outer shell combined reinforced alloys with mystical absorptive layers, giving it a rare resistance to enchanted weaponry. Beyond the Thorbuster, Stark experimented with the Godkiller protocols, armor iterations intended to match, even kill, Celestials, using concentrated energy discharges capable of scouring planetary-scale threats. These designs often required modular weapon attachments, gravitic stabilizers, and adaptive shields that responded in real time to cosmic energies. Parallel to raw energy, Tony developed magical countersuits, blending advanced science with arcane principles gleaned from mystics and sorcerers. This cross-disciplinary fusion allowed him to survive encounters against entities that defied physics, making the suits specialized yet indispensable when facing extreme scenarios. While none of these designs were practical for everyday missions, they showcased Tony's willingness to push technological limits, blending ingenuity with obsession. They were, in essence, his insurance policies against the unimaginable, emphasizing that for every mortal foe, there was a calculated solution, and for every god, a Thorbuster waiting in the wings. The Endo-Sym armor represents one of Tony Stark's most audacious ventures, fusing human ingenuity with alien symbiote biology. Constructed from a liquid metal matrix, the armor could shift form instantly, creating weapons, shields, and appendages at Tony's mental command. Neural interfaces allowed near-instantaneous control, making the suit feel like an extension of his own body. Strength and speed were amplified to extreme levels, granting feats that bordered on superhuman, lifting structures, cutting through reinforced steel, and moving with serpentine fluidity. Yet the armor came with a psychological and physiological cost. The symbiote's influence subtly encouraged aggression, feeding off adrenaline and conflict, amplifying Tony's darker impulses. Over time, users noted erratic behavior, impulsivity, and moral compromises that alarmed even Stark himself. He witnessed firsthand the danger of merging sentience with technology. The suit's power was intoxicating, but its control was never absolute. Ultimately, Tony abandoned the Endo-Sym project, recognizing that no amount of enhancement justified risking autonomy and sanity. The design remains a testament to his genius, a haunting glimpse of potential unbound by ethics, and a reminder that some innovations, no matter how alluring, carry consequences too profound to ignore. The Godkiller armor stands as the pinnacle of Tony Stark's ambition, a suit designed not just for battle but for cosmic-scale annihilation. Towering in size and built with alloys harvested from both Earth and extraterrestrial sources, this colossal armor dwarfed cities and carried enough destructive capacity to threaten planetary systems. Its energy output was virtually unmatched, combining repulsor arrays, gravitational projectors, and concentrated particle beams capable of tearing through celestial-grade defenses. Embedded AI systems coordinated complex attack patterns, integrating predictive algorithms to counter entities whose reflexes and powers exceeded mortal comprehension. Beyond raw firepower, the Godkiller armor symbolized mythic status, an instrument of fear and awe, a mechanized avatar capable of challenging gods themselves. Its sheer presence alone could alter the battlefield, radiating energy that distorted local physics and challenged even the most powerful adversaries. Yet, despite its grandeur, the suit came with limitations. Mobility was constrained by scale, and its activation demanded near-total commitment from its pilot. The Godkiller represents Tony's ultimate theoretical peak, a testament to his ingenuity and obsession, blending imagination with scientific extremity. It remains a creation whose destructive potential exists largely in theory, an apex expression of Iron Man's genius and the lengths he was willing to go to confront the universe's most insurmountable threats. His legacy is crystallized, not merely in raw strength, but in the brilliance, courage, and audacity to create armor limited only by imagination.